Okay, as spoken in the last presentation, uh, this year when you talk about living things, you are mainly learning three things: your plants, your animals, and then your fungi and bacteria. Okay, plants is one of the most important topic in primary school science. Every year there will be definitely a plant topic, and then it will be built on the previous year. So you must get a good hold of plants topic in P3 so that you can understand in P4 and so on and so forth. So it's a very important topic, basically. Okay, so we have talked about classification. So all the different living things on Earth is split into two main groups. One is the non-living, the other one is the living. Today we are going to focus on the groups under the living lah. So under living, as I told you already, these are the three groups. The decomposer refers to the fungi and bacteria group. Okay, we are going to talk about the plants group today. So why is plants a living thing? You should know by now. Okay, as I mentioned to you during the last video, you need to know the four characteristics of living thing. It must be at your fingertips. Okay, because during exam they will show you a certain living thing or a certain non-living thing. Then you have to explain why are they living or non-living based on the characteristic of living things that you memorize. Okay, so the first thing is because living things grow, plants also grow, right? So you have a young plant, you grow into adult plant, okay, that can bear fruits and flower. Okay, living things reproduce. Okay, for example, flowering plants, they reproduce through seeds. They respond to changes. I also show you on the last video. For example, mimosa plant, when you touch it, you close the leaf, or plants can actually grow towards the sunlight. So that's how plants respond to changes around them lah. Okay, they'll grow towards the sunlight. Okay, because they need light to make food. They need air, food, and water to stay alive. However, the different thing here is for other living things, right? They feed on others. For plants, it's very special. They make their own food. They create food from light. Okay, how they do it, we'll talk about it later. Okay, we can actually further classify plants lah. Okay, there are a few ways you can classify them. The first way is the most common way. Okay, it's either they are flowering or non-flowering. Okay, flowering plants have flower, which will become fruits and then have seeds that reproduce. Non-flowering plants basically don't have any flower, so they don't have any fruits. Okay, you can also classify them on where they stay. So plants can either be land plants or water plant. Okay. The other less common way of classifying plants is edible and inedible lah. Okay, it's seldom tested, but just for your information. So edible meaning it can be eaten. So plants that can be eaten are basically plants that's not poisonous. Whereas inedible plants are plants that are poisonous. It can be their fruits, their seeds, or their leaves that is poisonous. So any inedible plants are basically referring to a poisonous plant. Okay, it can be mild poison, that means maybe it can just cause you to have a stomach upset, or it can be a very serious one that can cause you to die from eating. Okay, so why are plants so special? Why is it that you have to study it every year? Okay, basically plants is special because they are super important. They provide the earth, all living things, with air, okay, with oxygen to breathe. Or you should know that if you don't breathe, you'll die lah. So that's why plants are so important. Second thing is they provide us with food. Okay, no living things on earth can create their own food except for plants. So plants will create food from light. Then when we feed on plants, or if the animals we feed on plants, the energy will be indirectly transferred to us. That's why plants are so important. So basically, without plants, there will be no living things on earth. That's why plants is so important. Everything depends on plant for survival. Okay, even if you don't eat vegetables, okay, the meat that you eat, they have to feed on plants. So indirectly you're also getting energy and food from plants. Okay. Now, so how does plants make their own food? Basically they need three substances. You can think of it as cooking. When you cook, you need to have a certain ingredient. For example, when you bake a cake, you need egg, you need flour, okay, to bake a cake. So these are the ingredients needed for plants to make food, but we don't call them ingredients. We call them substances, things that is needed for the plants to make food. So they don't only use light. Although we usually say that plants make food using light, but they don't only use light. They need light, carbon dioxide and water. Okay, I think everyone should know what's the water and what's light lah. So what is carbon dioxide? So for those of you who are not familiar with what is carbon dioxide, basically every day you need to breathe, right? So when we breathe in this air called oxygen. When we breathe out this air called carbon dioxide. So the air that we breathe out, which is carbon dioxide, is used by the plants. Okay, so animals also breathe out carbon dioxide, they also use it. The plants also use it to make food. So how do they get these three substances? Well, obviously we know light comes from the sun. Yeah, of course it can also come from artificial light, that means light from the lamppost. Okay, but how do they get it? They trap using this thing called chlorophyll, which is found in the leaf. So for P3, right, you don't need to know what's chlorophyll yet, but it's good that you know lah, although you don't have, it won't be tested. So the leaf will basically help you trap the light. Okay, the leaf is the one that traps the light from the sun. Okay, but inside your leaf actually there's this substance called chlorophyll. So this chlorophyll will help the leaf trap light. Okay, I'll talk more about chlorophyll later lah. Okay, although it's not so important in P3 yet. Okay, second thing is the leaf. Okay, for us we use the nose to breathe. Okay, but for plants they use the leaf to breathe. Inside the leaf there's this small holes called the stomata, which you don't have to know yet. Okay, it's a P5 topic, but you just have to know that they use the leaf to breathe lah. Okay, then water they take in through the roots. So for us we drink water from our mouth, right? But for plants they take in through the soil using the roots. So these three parts of the plant, the leaf, which taking the light and carbon dioxide, the roots taking water. After taking these three substances, they combine them, it will turn into food for the plants. Okay, and then this food will be stored in the plant, so when we feed on the plant, the food get transferred to us, okay, in the form of energy. Okay, so this word, like I said, is very important, although you won't be tested in P3. Okay, let's look at the different parts of the plant. Okay, we'll look at a flowering plant. Like I say, a flowering plant is plants that have flower that produce fruits. Okay, so plants they have the middle part called the stem. Okay, a very thick and big stem that you see on trees is called your tree trunk. Okay, but they are all basically known as stem. Okay, so stem has a few functions. The first function is that it holds the plant upright, so the plant can be straight. However, you must be careful about this because some stem can be very weak. So for plants that's very weak stems, right, they cannot stand upright. But most plants have very strong stems that can keep them upright. Okay, the reason why they have to be kept upright is because they have to grow towards the sunlight to get light to make food. Okay. Second function is to support the branches and the leaf. Okay. The third function is to transport food and water. So just now I've also already briefly tell you the roots will take in water, right? So after the roots taking water, the water can be transported to all parts of the plant. Okay. So if you water the plants, actually you don't have to water the leaf because when you water the leaf cannot take in water. You should have water the soil. Okay, because when the water goes in the soil, the roots can take the water up to the different parts of the plant. Okay, then just now as I was telling you, plants use the leaf to make food, right? So after the leaf make food, they can transport it through the stem to all parts of the plant as well. So that's the function of the stem. Okay, roots I already tell you already, it absorbs water. It also absorbs mineral salts. Mineral salts are basically things like it's like vitamins that keeps the plant healthy. Okay, it also helps hold the plant firmly to the ground. Okay, so when the wind blows, the plant won't be blown away but of course you also have to be careful with this because water plants, for example, they don't hold the plant to the soil. Okay, so water plants roots is mainly used for taking in water. It's not meant to hold the plants. Okay, because there's nothing to hold on to. Okay, you also store food so when the plants make food, after there's extra food, right, they will transport it down to the roots to store it. Okay, so leaf I just now told you already contains chlorophyll, which allows the plants to trap light. Then using the light they trap, they will make food for the plant. Okay, and then of course the leaf also helps the plant to breathe okay, just like I told you as well. Okay, flower. Okay, flower actually it doesn't give any food or water to the plant. It doesn't help the plant at all to survive. But what it do is it helps turn into the fruit, and which contains seeds, which helps the plants reproduce. So flower is very important in the sense that it makes sure that the plants can reproduce. And as I've told you previously, the main purpose of reproduction is to prevent extinction. So the flower actually helps prevents the plant from extinction. Okay. Then like I mentioned earlier, the flower turn to fruits, and then the fruits have seeds that's used for reproduction into new plants. Okay, let's talk about the most important parts of the plant, which is the leaf. Okay, the leaf is very important because, as mentioned earlier, it helps the plant make food, trap light. It also helps the plant breathe. Okay, so that's why it's very important. Now, if you ever look at the leaf closely, okay, this is how the leaf will look like. The outside layer, let me just draw it. Okay, this outside layer, right? Okay, is called the leaf edge. Or you just have to think of your table edge, the edge of your table. So it's also called the edge, but it's known as leaf edge lah. Okay, the part in the middle here, okay, the space in the middle here, basically the flat surface of the leaf is called the leaf blade. Okay, then this is the leaf stalk. Okay, it is attached to the branches of the stem. Okay, the one in the middle, okay, is called the main vein. Okay, so if you look at your wrist, there's a greenish line. Okay, that's our vein as well, right? So plants, they also have their own vein. Okay, so that's the main vein for the leaf. Okay, and then the side, when they branch out, okay, all these branching out, right? All these are called a network vein. So just a quick summary of how it works. So for example, when the roots take in water, okay, the water will go up. Okay, enter the roots up the stem, and then it will grow to the branches or the leaf stalk. Then it will go into the main vein. Then the main vein will spread it out the water. So that's how the leaf get the water lah. Okay, then how about when the plants make food? So when the plants make food, after the leaf make food, okay, you bring it down. Okay, you give to the flowers, you give it to the fruits, whatever that needs to be given, they'll give, and then leftover they'll bring it down to the roots for storage. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, let's look at the different types of leaf. Okay, let's look at the vein first. There are mainly two kinds of vein. The first one is what we have talked about just now. Okay, the main vein, and then it branch out to network veins. These are the common kind of leaf. Usually this is the kind of leaf you see. Then the other one is when the veins run side by side. Okay, it all comes from the leaf stalk here. Okay, so this year for math you should have learned about parallel lines. So when the veins run side by side, right, it's known as parallel veins. So network veins, parallel veins. Okay, so for the edges of the leaf, right, there are three types. Okay, the edges is the side of the leaf lah. Okay, so when it's very smooth, okay, you can call it entire edge. Okay, when it's sharp, you can call it tooth edge. And then if it's like a clover leaf, okay, it is lobe edge. Okay, or if you can remember what a clover leaves look like. Okay, sometimes it's 4-leaf clover. All these are lobe edge leaf. Okay, to be frank, this is seldom tested, but I still see some exam paper, even last year, I still see some exam papers testing leaf edge and leaf vein. Okay, so chlorophyll is found in the leaf, like I told you earlier. It helps the plant trap light. So other parts of the leaf, right, doesn't have chlorophyll. So the stem, the roots, they don't have chlorophyll. Only the leaves have it. Okay. Now, we can also prove it by looking at the tree lah. So if you look at the tree, right, you realize only the leaf has only the leaf is green. The reason is because chlorophyll, right, has an effect. It has this thing called a green pigmentation that causes things to turn green. That's why leaf is green in color. Okay, and that's why when the leaf die, okay, there will be no more chlorophyll because the chlorophyll dies along with it. There will be no more green pigmentation, and then the plant will no longer be green. It will slowly turn orange and then turn brown. So that's the reason why. Okay, so we have basically split up plants into flowering and non-flowering. Okay, previously we have been focusing more on flowering plants. So now we're going to look at non-flowering plants. Non-flowering plants basically is either moss or fern. Okay, moss and fern, they don't have flower, so they won't have fruits because you need flower to become fruits, and without fruits there won't be any seeds. So since moss and ferns, they don't have any seeds, they cannot reproduce by seed. So moss and ferns, they reproduce by spores. Okay, later on you also learn that fungi also reproduce by spores lah. But fungi is not plants. Okay. They will never ask you in exam what's the difference between moss and fern, but just a simple way for you to distinguish it is moss is usually not tall. Okay, they are pretty short. Okay, like they are like flat, just like the grass. Okay, and fern is usually taller than moss, like usually quite long, quite tall. Okay, I'll show you some common ferns that you usually see. Okay, these are the ferns that usually will be tested in exam. So the first one, the most popular one is the bird nest fern. Okay, that's how it looks like. Dragon scale fern, so it's called dragon scale fern because when all these small leaves, when it grows on the tree trunk of a tree, it looks like as if the tree trunk has some scales on it. So that's why it's called dragon scale fern, or staghorn fern. Okay, these are the common fern. So you just have to remember during exam, once you see the word moss or any word that ends with the word fern, immediately you must know they are non-flowering plants. Immediately you also must know, since they are non-flowering plants, they reproduce by spores. They don't have flower, they don't have fruits, they don't have seeds. So just remember, any word you see with the word fern is non-flowering, as well as moss. Okay. By the way, a lot of students get tricked also. Grass is a flowering plant. Although I mentioned that only the leaves has chlorophyll, but sometimes certain parts of the plant, special kind of plants, will have uh, chlorophyll as well. For example, your broccoli. Broccoli is actually a flower lah. Okay, we eat broccoli, but actually it's a flower. So broccoli is green in color because broccoli also has green pigmentation, also has chlorophyll in it. That's why it's also green. Okay, let's look at the different kind of tree shapes. Okay, this is seldom tested nowadays really, so just briefly go through. So some trees, they are round in shape, some trees looks like a fan, so it's called fan shape. The popular Christmas tree looks like a cone, it's called cone shape. And then Singapore, we have a lot of rain tree on the expressway, right? So they are called umbrella shape because they looks like a open up umbrella. Okay, again, this is not important, at least not important P3 lah. So you just have to focus on these three words. These are all the water plants. Basically, all water plants can be further classified into three main groups: floating, partially submerged, and fully submerged. So floating plants, that means the top part is totally above water. So if let's say I have a pond or fish tank or whatever, okay, the plant is on top, the roots is below, that is called floating. It is not called partially submerged. Partially submerged is when, okay, let's say this, okay, half of the plant is above water, half of the plant is below water. Okay, you don't go and care, you don't take into consideration the roots. Then the last one is fully submerged plants. That means the whole plant is underwater. Okay, so what have you learned today? We know that chlorophyll traps light, or you can just know that leaf is the one that traps light for the plant to make food. Plants can make food using light, water, and air. When you go to P4, P5, P6, you need to know that the air that plants use to make food is carbon dioxide lah, to be specific. And then actually plants can use any kind of light to make food lah, not just sunlight. It can use the light in your room, it can use light from the table lamp. Okay, just that the best form of light for plants is still the sunlight. Okay, we have learned the different parts of a leaf, plant parts, their functions. Do you know the different parts of the plant? You know where are they and how to spell them. You also need to know what they do. Okay, flowering plants have flower which turn into fruits and then reproduce by seeds, and therefore non-flowering plant is the opposite, they reproduce by spores. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, anything with the word fern is a non-flowering plant. Moss is also a non-flowering plant.